My ex-wife showed up to our divorce hearing pregnant. She thought it would secure her a payout until the judge asked one question. You ever watch someone completely self-destruct in real time? Not in a movie, not in a story, but right in front of your eyes? I did, and that someone was my ex-wife, Jessica. The entire divorce process had been an exhausting circus of tantrums, delays, and paperwork designed for one purpose: to wear me down. If she had fought even half as hard for our marriage as she did against me after it ended, maybe we would have stood a chance. But instead, I was watching the woman I once loved turn into a stranger I didn't recognize and definitely didn't trust. Still nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for what happened the day of the final hearing. She walked in late wearing a fitted dress, one hand dramatically resting on her belly, pregnant. I stared at her, numb, and then, almost against my will, I let out the faintest laugh because I knew that child wasn't mine. But it didn't matter to Jessica, and in her head, this was a golden ticket. She didn't need truth. She needed a performance. She needed sympathy, and she thought she had just found her closing act. I could already hear her monologue, the trembling voice, the rehearsed despair. Your Honor, I'm alone. I'm pregnant. I have nothing. Please help me. She wanted to paint me as the villain who abandoned her, pregnant and penniless. She thought this stunt would earn her a payout, break the prenup, and give her a check for the rest of her life. But Jessica didn't know that I stopped underestimating her a long time ago. She had no idea I had already seen the cracks in her story and that I had no intention of playing the fool. She underestimated the wrong man. When she sat down, exaggerating every motion like she was made of glass, I didn't flinch. I didn't even blink. I had Ethan by my side, my lawyer, the calm, calculating who could tear you apart with a smile. I wasn't fond of lawyers, but Ethan, I was grateful for him. He was sharp, precise, deadly in court, and today he was ready to go in for the kill. Jessica, on the other hand, had burned through 3 attorneys already. The poor kid sitting next to her that day looked fresh out of law school. He wore nerves like a badge of honor. I almost felt sorry for him, almost. Then it began. Your Honor, Jessica's lawyer said, standing up like he was in a drama club audition. My client has been left in an impossible situation. She's pregnant. She's unemployed. She's emotionally devastated. Jessica even added a soft sniffle for effect, her hands clasped gently around her belly like a holy relic. I could feel my mother shift nervously behind me in the audience. Just a week earlier, she'd called me. Just settle, she had said, her voice worn and tired. Don't let this drag on. She's pregnant. That's not my kid, Mom, I replied. She hesitated. Are you sure? Mom, I said, she cheated on me. Repeatedly. I caught her. And honestly, if this was my kid, she wouldn't have to pull any of this. I'd be there. I'd be a father. That's what separates us. I take responsibility. She plays games. Mom had sighed on the phone, defeated. I just don't want this to get uglier. It was already ugly. But back in the courtroom, I promised myself I was going to end it. Ethan stood up, calm, cool, collected. Your Honor, he said, while we do sympathize with Miss Parker's situation, we have one critical matter to address before we proceed. He turned to Jessica's lawyer. Who is the father of this child? You could hear a pin drop. Jessica froze. Her lawyer blinked, confused, then stumbled. My client believes it is the petitioner's. Believes? Ethan didn't miss a beat. Believes? So there's no proof? The judge narrowed his eyes. Miss Parker, have you taken a paternity test? Jessica opened her mouth, then closed it again, then opened it. I assumed. You assumed, the judge repeated flatly. Miss Parker, Is there any actual evidence suggesting the petitioner is the father of your unborn child? Jessica's lawyer looked like he wanted the earth to swallow him whole. Jessica's face turned ghost white, and that's when Ethan brought out the heavy artillery. Your Honor, he said, laying photos on the table, we have reason to believe the child is not my client's. These images were taken 2 months after the separation, Miss Parker vacationing with another man, holding hands, kissing. Jessica shrank in her seat, and, Ethan continued, sliding another document forward, her medical records show her first confirmed pregnancy test occurred after she and my client were last together. It was over. Right there. Her entire act came crashing down. The judge exhaled deeply, then shook his head. This court does not take kindly to deception, he said sternly. Given the evidence, the prenup stands. Miss Parker, you will not receive alimony or additional compensation. Jessica gasped as if someone had struck her. But, Your Honor, this hearing is over. She sat frozen, fingers white-knuckled around the edge of the table, her eyes darting as if searching for an escape hatch that didn't exist. You could almost hear her mind screaming, this wasn't supposed to happen. And then, the tantrum. This isn't fair, she yelled. I'm about to have a baby and he gets to walk away? The judge, exhausted, pinched the bridge of his nose. Miss Parker, your pregnancy has no legal bearing on this divorce unless paternity is established, which, based on the evidence, it has not been. She turned to me then, like she had one last card to play. You're really doing this to your own child? She was still trying to plant doubt, still hoping the room might turn on me, but I just smiled, calm, slow, sharp. You want to go on record accusing me of being the father? I said, leaning forward. Because we can get a court-ordered test right now. Her face contorted. Rage, panic, fear. The judge simply turned to the clerk. It was over. I walked out of the courtroom with Ethan beside me, Mom a few steps behind. I felt lighter than I had in years. Of course, Jessica wasn't done. She stormed after us, heels pounding the floor. You're a monster, she hissed. You let me sit there humiliated. I turned. I'm sorry, was it the fraud or the lying under oath that humiliated you? You set me up. No, Jessica, I said, my voice like ice. You set yourself up. I just let you walk into it. She turned to my mother. You're okay with this? With what he did? And that's when Mom stepped forward, arms crossed. Her voice was firm. I'm not okay with what you did to him, she said. You fooled us all once. Never again. Jessica's lip trembled. For a moment, I saw the girl I used to love, cracked and desperate. Then it vanished. I hope you rot, she snapped, stepping toward me. Miss Parker, came a voice behind her, stern, official. 2 court officers. Come with us, please. Her head whipped around. What? Why? The judge has requested an inquiry into possible perjury and fraud, one officer said. You'll need to answer some questions. Jessica's eyes went wide. No, wait, this is... But they were already walking her back inside. Ethan clapped me on the shoulder. Whoa, that was satisfying. I just smirked. Yeah, it really was. And I didn't follow her back in. I didn't need to, but I did keep tabs. The judge hit her with fines for wasting the court's time. Her lawyer dropped her. Her application for government assistance? Rejected. No paternity, no aid. And the cherry on top? Her new boyfriend dumped her. Apparently, when Ethan pulled out those vacation photos in court, he started doing the math and realized he might not be the only one she'd been with. Suddenly, he wasn't so sure that baby was his either. I can only imagine how that conversation went. A few months later, I got a message from an unknown number. Jessica, I hope you're happy. I stared at it, took a breath, then typed, I am. Thanks for asking. Blocked. She had spent years trying to control me, drain me, ruin me. Now she had nothing. And for the first time in a very long time, I was free. You know, watching someone try to weaponize pregnancy, lie under oath, and manipulate the system isn't just disturbing, it's heartbreaking because it proves how far some people will go when they think playing the victim gets them ahead. Let me be clear, this isn't about gender, it's about character. Men and women alike have been dragged through courtrooms because someone they once trusted chose revenge over reason, games over honesty. Divorce is hard, it's painful. But faking a pregnancy or using an actual one like a tool for leverage, that's not just wrong, it's dangerous. For the child, for the other parent, for everyone involved. If this story hit a nerve or made you cheer a little, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments, what would you have done if you were in his shoes? Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay sharp and stay true.